Bob, do I multitask?
No.
The fastest route to your success, guys, is to stop multitasking, to remain highly, highly focused, okay? The more focused you are, the more successful you become. You just want to focus on one idea. I know that's hard to do. Like we've all got that ADD thing that they talk about on the internet, right? We all have information overwhelm. We're all entrepreneurial minded. We're all coming up with these brilliant new ideas to implement, right? And all that does is just sidetrack you from achieving at least one of your goals. So focus on one goal, one idea, and one business at a time. That's really, really, really important to stay focused. You're sitting in front of your computer with your email on. How often do you guys get that little chiming sound when an email comes in? You know, emails are coming in constantly, especially in our industry. And people are asking, hey, you want to do a JV with me? And you take a look at the JV proposal. Next thing you know, you're over on the website reading about the whole commission structure and what the launch process is going to be and so on and so forth, right? And then a couple of minutes later, you get back into what your task, what you're supposed to be focused on, what's going to be making you money. And you start working on that. You change your thinking cap back to what you're supposed to be focused on. And then the phone rings. And it's your mom saying, hey, hon, I haven't seen you for a while. Can you come over for dinner on Sunday evening? Bring the kids. It just totally takes you off track. You're changing your thinking cap again. And then you got to get back into what you're doing, and you go back to that simple little task, and you still haven't completed it. And then your wife comes in, honey, I'm going to the spa, or I want to get my hair colored. You know, what color do you think I should, tint it? All these little things that don't really need to be answered by you right then and there. And my suggestion to you guys is to more or less turn off the world around you when you're working. Block specific time that's only there for you. You get so much more accomplished if you remain focused. My suggestion to you guys is to turn off all of those distractions. Turn off your email. It might be a little surprising for you guys to hear me say that because that's what I mostly teach is email marketing and list building. But you don't have to be on it 24/7, okay? Turn it off. Just have it on a couple of times during the day. You know, I'm suggesting here maybe just before lunch at 11, check your emails, all right? Then after you've checked them, turn them off. You can respond to a couple of the urgent ones if you have to. After lunch, you can go back in there, look for the responses, and then turn it off again for the rest of the day. And then maybe finally at the end of the day, review your email quickly just to make sure that nothing super urgent hasn't happened. Okay? Because if you're constantly checking your email, you're just constantly going to be sidetracked, and you're not going to be able to answer that very simple question that you had. You know, typically you can do a task in a very short period of time, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you in a minute. But when you're multitasking, you're doing all these different things, you waste a heap of time. So stop multitasking, focus on just one task at a time, and focus on the things that actually make you money, guys. Focus on productive things that are, in the end, going to make money for you and your business. Focus on those things that are going to help you automate your business, okay? I personally, my phone does not get picked up during the day at all. There's a few select people that can get through to me. More often than not, people try calling the house, and then they call Maria's cell phone. And then Maria will tell me if it's somebody that she thinks I might need to talk to. Otherwise, Maria, do I take phone calls?
No, you do not.
That was something that was hard for Maria to learn, but it was even harder for my mother to learn. When you don't pick up your mom's phone call, that took a while.
She still is learning.
Sometimes she struggles with that, but she's my mom. It's okay. But these things will distract you, folks. Close your door. If you have children in the house, close your door to your office. And just let them know that there's certain time that you need to spend by yourself on your business. And my kids know when they come home from school, they don't yell, "Hi, Daddy," because I might be on a call. Or I might be like totally engrossed in what I'm doing. You know, sometimes sales copy will do that to you. And I don't like changing my thinking cap. I know they're going to be home at a certain time anyway, so I'm pretty much prepared for them to be home. But the point is that there's scheduled time for doing scheduled thing. And you need to schedule your fun too, by the way. Schedule your work time, schedule your fun time. You'll get a ton more accomplished. On page 32 of your manual, there's just an exhibit here that I want to show you, talking about the power of focus versus the myth of multitasking. If you're looking at this chart and you look at the top, the focus equals productivity. All right, you see there's 3 tasks at hand here. Each one is symbolized by the letter A, B, or C. Those are your 3 tasks. This is the focused mind working on this, okay? Say each task takes 3 weeks in total to complete, all right? So the focused mind is going to focus on task A for 3 solid weeks, okay? At the end of 3 weeks, you will have task A completed. And theoretically, you should be drawing some income from that as well, all right? Then you move on to task B. You do the same thing. For 3 weeks, you focus on nothing but task B. All right? Now you're 6 weeks into the game, and you've got 2 sources of income coming from those 2 productivity-creating tasks. Okay? Then you move on to the number C, your 3rd task, and repeat it again. You spend 3 full weeks on task C, and then after just 9 weeks, you've completed 3 tasks. The first task taking you 3 weeks to complete, you're already making money. Then in 6 weeks in, you're making some more money, and you're making money as you're working on each successive task. That's the focused mind. When you look at a multitasking person, what they'll do is they'll spend a week on task A, and then they'll push it aside for a second. Now let's work for 1 week on task B. Okay, that was fun. Let's go over here to task C for the next week. And you work a week on task C. So you've spent 3 weeks. Time never changes, but you spent 3 weeks and you haven't accomplished any task yet. So you're not making any income yet either, and you've never accomplished anything. You go to week 4. Say, I'll go back to task A now for a bit. I'll work on that for a week. You get tired of that, or you lose your focus, and you go over here the following week and you work on task B. And then what happens? A week later, you go over here and you work on task C. So you're 6 weeks into the game. You haven't completed any tasks yet because you haven't focused for 3 full weeks on any one task as of yet. So you haven't made any income yet either, and you haven't completed anything. You haven't done anything. Somebody says, what have you been doing this weekend, Mark? What have you done this last couple of weeks? A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. What's your outcome been? Nothing. So you go into week 7. Finally, in week 7, you're back on task A, and you spend the 3rd required week on task A, and you finish task A. All right, so you're finally finished one task, but it took you 7 weeks to finish that one task versus 3 weeks up here. And the cycle continues, and slowly you complete one task after the other, slowly. But you can see that one task, it takes 7 full weeks to complete just one task using the multitasking model. When you're answering the phones, when you're checking emails, when you're talking to your wife about her hair color or whatever it is. I'm just picking on the ladies. But 3 tasks completed in full takes 21 weeks when you're multitasking. That's a lot of money out of your pocket. Because all along the way, the focus mind is making money after just 3 weeks. And that builds, that compounds, right? Keep that in mind.